All right, let's do this. How to make money trading stocks enough to be able to give up my day job? Well, let's say you make $200,000 a year. If you had bought Tesla when we told you to buy Tesla at $200, and right now it's $1,200, you would have made 600% in about a year. If you make $100,000 as your salary, how much money would you have needed to put into Tesla to equal your salary and just sit there doing nothing except drinking Mai Tais and pina coladas? If you had just bought $20,000 worth of Tesla, when we told you to, you'd have $120,000 right now. You'd have more than your salary. You don't believe me? Watch. Here it is. We told you to buy Tesla right here. And here's the video to prove it. Oh, by the way, it's in our YouTube channel. This is our YouTube channel. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will find this video. I don't know why we have 3 thumbs down, but anyway, we do. So we told everyone, hey, back in July 2019 or June 2019, you need to buy Tesla when it hits 191. It might even hit 141. Can you see this? Because I'm looking at it from the back side. Yeah. It might even hit 141, but regardless, you need to buy it at 191. And right now, look at Tesla go. I know this is reversed. I know this is mirrored. You might want to take a screen capture of this and or just watch this video in a mirror to be able to see this. But it's $1,200. Went from $190 to $1,200. Not bad, huh? Wait, that took a whole year. I don't have that much time. Can I make a ton of money now? The answer is yes, using this right here. And I'm not going to go into that in this video. If you want the discussion on this chart, you can make a shit ton of money on this chart right now. It might take you a week or two, maybe a month at the most, but nah, I don't think so. It'll probably take about 2 weeks to make you a shit ton of money if you know how to play this chart right. If you want the video for that, let's see. If you want the explanation for that, go here. Actually, I don't have it up. It's patreon.com/Bitcoin Fund Manager. Go to patreon.com/Bitcoin Fund Manager, and there's an instruction set as to how to play this chart. Okay, so let's get back to this topic. How do you make enough money to where you can quit your day job and make more money trading stocks? $100,000, $200,000 a year? This is how you do it. You're going to need to understand the 6 things. Number 1, you're going to need to understand how the Fed works. You have to understand how the Fed works. It's not as simple as you think. They don't just print money and make everything go burr. Number 2, you have to understand specific industries that you're investing in. And it's not that hard because all you have to do is understand the big picture and some of the key points, but it requires studying. You can't just randomly pick a stock and say, hey, I'm going to do well. You have to understand how industry works, how supply chain works, how technology works. So it's not really all that easy, but it's doable. And it's not all that hard either. So number 3, you have to understand game theory because the people with money, the whales, are going to game you. They're going to try and shake you out and they're going to try and FUD you. You remember how much FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt there was on Tesla? Everyone said Tesla's going to die, let's short Tesla, Tesla's a scam, Tesla's a fraud, Elon Musk is this and that. That's when you buy. I'm sorry, it's true. Whenever the media says don't buy something, buy it. Whenever the media says buy something, sell it. Because who controls the media? The rich people. The rich people want to buy all of Tesla's stocks, so what are they going to do? They're going to make sure that you sell it to them. The rich people are going to want to sell all their Bitcoin, so they're going to say, hey, Bitcoin actually looks like it can hit $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 each. It might go up 10 times its current value in the next year or two, is what the rich people are going to tell you because they want to sell to you. Because the rich people control the media. So that's game theory. Number 4, you are going to have to understand some chart analysis. It's called TA, chart analysis. However, that's actually kind of difficult. Chart analysis is actually really difficult. So you don't have to plan on understanding it, just have to know the big principles. And our website, for members only, we actually analyze the charts for you. So we take care of that part for you. The rest of the stuff, you are going to have to do a lot of it on your own. Or you can just ask us to see what we know about certain industries or companies. So that's number 4. Number 5, you're going to have to understand chaos is opportunity. Chaos is opportunity. Bruce Lee said this, and I don't have that quote with me right now, but I would post it up. Bruce Lee said, within chaos, there lies opportunity. But Bruce Lee didn't say this originally. This is actually a Taoist quote. It's from The Art of War. It's a Sun Tzu quote from The Art of War. And that's pure Taoist philosophy, Taoist philosophy. What this means is that you have to understand that whenever there's chaos, for instance, right now in America or around the world with Black Lives Matter and with protests and looting and chaos, including presidential elections, there is, you got it, opportunity. What kind of opportunity is there? Real simple, super simple. If you're just going to look at, in the coronavirus thing, if you're just going to look at this chaos from a surface level, hell, did you know that in the last 3 months, more firearms, more weapons were purchased by Americans than the entire year previous to that? That means that we have about 400% more guns being bought than before. Now, what happens when you buy 400% more guns? Interesting question, isn't it? What happens if you buy 400% more printers? What comes right after that? 400% more ink cartridges. You got it. Bullets. Here's the chaos. All this Black Lives Matter and protesting and all this chaos. The opportunity? Buy bullets. But here's the funny thing about it. Is there really going to be 400% more expenditure, more demand for bullets? No. It's going to be a hell of a lot more. You know why? It's because people that already have owned guns in the past, people who have owned guns in the past, they actually have a little experience shooting. So they might shoot, I don't know how many rounds they're going to shoot at the practice range. But if you suck at shooting, if you're brand new to shooting in this gun, you're holding it in such a way that you're going to break your nose every time it fires, you're going to shoot a lot more bullets. So 4 times more guns might actually mean 8 times more bullets. Who manufactures bullets in America? What about a foreign country? What about Chinese bullets because they're cheaper? Oh, this is where you have to understand macroeconomics. Okay, so instead of 6, let's make it 7 points. You have to understand. You have to understand macroeconomics and trade policy. America and China right now have a trade war going. So the Chinese are not buying anything in America from America, and the Americans aren't buying anything from China. So where are you going to find cheap, affordable, high quality bullets? Not China. It's cheap, but it's not really high quality, number one. Not America. It's high quality, but it's not cheap. Korea. Guess who makes bullets in Korea? A company called Pungsan. And their stock is just about ready to explode. You see how this chaos equals opportunity thing? Figure out how to buy Pungsan stock from Korea. That's all I can say. And then if you join us at patreon.com/Bitcoin patreon.com/Billionaire Stocks, it's our stock market Patreon site. Patreon.com/Billionaire Stocks. You'll find an actual chart analyzing how the chart works that gives us a lot more data as to when the whales started buying. And it looks like the whales have started buying a couple months ago, and they've just been accumulating, and now the word's getting out to the public to where once the public jumps on this stock, it'll just go pew and explode. So you have to understand macroeconomics, the Fed. You have to understand how industries work. You have to understand that chaos equals opportunity, which is from Taoism. And you know what else is from Taoism? Yin Yang. Sounds weird, doesn't it? You initially started to watch this video because it was going to explain to you how you could ditch your day job and make more money trading stocks. And now I'm talking about the Yin Yang. You have to understand the process of the Yin Yang. I told everyone to buy Bitcoin. Me personally, before I had my team and before we had this whole thing going, we told everyone to buy Bitcoin at around $8 each. If you had listened, you'd not be watching this video right now because you'd be stupidly rich. Then told everybody, we have a meditation and Taoist philosophy channel. We told everybody on that meditation and Taoist philosophy channel to buy Bitcoin when it was about $80 to $120 each. Again, if you had bought Bitcoin back then and sold it at $18,000 when we told everybody on our Bitcoin channel to sell Bitcoin at $18,000, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. You'd be retired on your private island. So, this is why I'm telling you that the fifth thing you're going to have to understand is the Yin Yang, and that is also from Taoism. And the Yin Yang said to buy Tesla. The Yin Yang said to buy Bitcoin. You see why you have to understand the Yin Yang? What is the Yin Yang? The Yin Yang very simply says, if there's a Yang, there's a Yin. If there's a Yin, there's a Yang. You can't have one without the other. It's kind of like numbers. You can't have the number 3 but not the number 4. Oh, hey, there's, in the universe, I just found the number 12,794. Well, guess what? You can't find that number without the next number after that or the number before that. There are things scientists call irreducible complexity, to where if one exists, everything else exists with it simultaneously, like the concept of numbers. For instance, the concept of sound. You can't have sound without different sounds all at once. You can't just have an A minor exist all of a sudden without a B sharp. That's just not how sounds work. If you have the ability to create one sound, all the other sounds are created at the same time. So, the Yin Yang says, if you're going to have a Nike, which was the very first running shoe, tennis shoe manufacturer ever, guess what you're going to have? You got it, Reebok. If you're going to have Mercedes-Benz, are you starting to see the pattern now? You're going to have a BMW. If you're going to have an IBM, now you're starting to see the pattern. IBM is Yang. Guess what Yin was? You're going to have an Apple. If you're going to have a Microsoft, guess what? You're going to have an Apple. Funny thing about Apple is that Apple was a double Yin. This is why I was too young when Apple was, I didn't even understand chaos theory, I didn't understand game theory, I didn't understand stocks or anything, so I didn't buy Apple. I wish I had. But had I known how the Yin Yang applied to Apple, I would have bought the shit out of Apple 20 years ago. Instead of buying two different, I think I bought the Apple Lisa, I bought the Newton, I bought the, I bought a couple Power Max or whatnot. This is how this works. The rule of Yin Yang says, if there's a Yang, which is easier to spot because it's bigger and stronger and it's more out there, it's just more visible, that's what Yang is. There's always a dark horse. There's always a quiet sub underneath it. There's a smaller thing that perfectly matches this, and they have to happen at the same time. So let's take Tesla for instance. What's the Yang? Yang is the gas car industry, the petrol diesel industry. Yeah, so the Yin was Tesla. Tiny little guy trying to make, using his PayPal money, living in his friend's couch. Literally, he spent all his money to build Tesla. He didn't have any more money left, and he was sleeping on friends' couches. His friends are billionaires, so their couches are massive. It's not like he was, you know what I'm saying. Tiny little thing called Tesla. You should have bought it when it was $10. I only told our members and followers to buy it at $190. Sorry, I didn't think of it any sooner because I was too busy trading and buying Bitcoin. But that's how it works. If there's a massive thing called the gas engine industry, then there's going to be a tiny little thing that becomes, and Tesla is now worth more, has a higher market cap than Ford, than Nissan, than Hyundai. Weird, isn't it? That's how Yin Yang works. Yin Yang says that if there's a strong industry incumbent, there's going to be a tiny guy that has to occur. All you have to do is find the tiny guy, and it's easy to find the tiny guy because all you have to do is find the big guy, and the big guy's easy to find because he's the big guy. I'll give you another example. Let's go with IBM. IBM was the very first computer manufacturer. So who's the next competitor IBM? There was really nobody except Apple. And Apple's computers were 3, 4, 5 times more expensive than IBM's, and nobody used them. Nobody used them until Adobe came along and helped Apple become strong. Aldous, you remember Aldous Freehand? That's how it happened. That's when you needed to buy Apple stock, because it was the yin to IBM's yang. The reason why Apple, however, oddly enough, Apple became super powerful and one of the most valuable stocks on this planet is because Apple was not only a yin to one yang, it was a double yin. Apple was a double yin. Think about this. At the same time that IBM became the world's most powerful business computer company, guess who else became powerful? Microsoft. Microsoft was the software to IBM's hardware. Interesting, isn't it? So that means that since IBM was first and it was the biggest, and IBM had what, OS 1 and OS 2 or something, and then Microsoft came along with Windows 98. Boop, boop, boop. Microsoft was actually the yin to IBM's yang. You see how that works? Hardware, software. And now Microsoft became bigger than IBM. Interesting, isn't it? But when Microsoft became this big, guess who became the yin to Microsoft's yang? You got it, Apple. Apple had the Apple OS, the iOS, was so much better. It was so much stronger than Microsoft that now Apple was not only the subordinate to IBM, it was also the subordinate to Microsoft, and suddenly Apple became bigger than both. Funny how that works, isn't it? Same with Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Same with, I don't know, what else? Ferrari, Lamborghini. Same with hamburgers, hot dogs. You notice how everything in life has an opposite? That's the theory of the yin and yang. And we'll go into more of that. So how do you know what to pick right now? How do you do a stock pick based on that information? Look at what's yang right now. What's really big? Video games. Think of the #1 biggest video game manufacturer and find the yin to that. Think of the world's biggest food manufacturer and find the yin to that. We already found the yin to that. It's the fake meat burgers. What company was that? I don't even pay attention to the food industry. So do that for anything. For anything. Look for the biggest company out there, whether it's Equinox or Spanx or whatnot. Look for the biggest brand out there, and you will absolutely always find a tiny little competitor that's going to get bigger than the big guy. The big guy is going to get smaller than the little guy. That's also one of the rules of the yin yang. The yin yang says that if there's a strong player, a yang, and there's a tiny little guy that's like a binary star to this guy, at one point, this tiny little guy is going to get bigger than the big guy that's going to get really tiny. It even happened with Coke and Pepsi. There was a point in time when Pepsi outsold Coca-Cola. It needed Michael Jackson's help. Michael Jackson was the spokesperson for Coca-Cola, the taste of a new generation, but it happened. Interesting, isn't it? What else is there? I dropped my notes. Here it is. The last part. No, that was it. Those are all the 6 parts. We're going to go through all those 6 parts, those 6 points, those 6 points at patreon.com/billionaire-stocks. Patreon.com/billionaire-stocks. And occasionally, for our private members, the private content we make at patreon.com/billionaire-stocks, occasionally we release them for free on our YouTube channel, just to hook you guys into becoming private members. So if you don't want to join our Patreon, that's fine. Join and click subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're going to go through each one of these in a lot more detail. We're going to explain how to do chart analysis. At least it's so complicated that I'm just going to be able to give you the big, most important chart analysis techniques so that you can do it yourself. Oh man, the Fed and the central bank. We haven't even touched on that. Game theory. What's game theory? Well, and then chaos is opportunity, yin yang, industry analysis. This is going to take a lot more than just this one video. So join us. Subscribe here and join us at patreon.com/billionaire-stocks. Oh, and if you give us a thumbs up here, if we amass, let's say, 200 thumbs up on this video, I'll give you a free private video on which industry is the yin industry for existing mega industries right now. So within that industry, all you have to do is find the yin company within that yin industry, and that thing's going to go up 10x, 20x, 100x. Literally. Just like Teslas right now. $1,200 each when you could have bought Tesla at $10 each. Imagine that.